Hey guys, what's up? I'm going to be reviewing the MSI 2019 play-ins of TL and Phong Buffalo. This game will determine if they get out of the play-in stage and go to the main tournament. So let's just jump into it. We see the Aurelia ban, and I fully expect all the split pushers to get banned out in these games. So we're going to see Aurelia, probably Akali, um, maybe some other bans as well. We'll see what they go with. Jarvan ban on blue side. This opens up. I don't really know what this opens up. I guess TL doesn't want to ban. I mean, they don't want to first pick Rek'Sai. Oh, and I also expect Ryze to get banned, but it might look like they will not be when you see these two support bans come out. It's pretty interesting that they're going for a support pinch, considering TL has decent champ pools. I assume they play mostly meta, so it's kind of confusing why they would target the support pool here. And we do see the Akali ban on blue side. I don't expect to see Rek'Sai first picked here for TL. I don't think Fongvu plays Rek'Sai, or they don't play it much, so maybe that's more of the reason why they're going for this. They also banned the Taric. I know that TL did play Taric Sona before, I believe. We see the Jace pick come out. Pretty interesting that they opt for Jace over Ryze. Yeah. Because Ryze is a better flex pick. Maybe they just want impact on something with more like a comfort champion. Very surprised to see Silas, especially when they pick up the Jace. Um, Braum Lucian might be a good picks here. You kind of have to pick up your bot lane because there's so many supports banned. So when I see the Lucian, I fully expect Braum to get locked in, and we do see that. I like the pick. I don't really like the Jace first pick, but it's fine. Jace is a champion that goes top that doesn't really have that many natural counters. And Kai'Sa. So we're seeing more of a mid-game focus from TL, and we're seeing more of a late-game focus from Fongvu. Junglers should get pinched, um, at least from Fongvu. And they see the Skarner ban come out. Skarner kind of problematic for Kai'Sa, short range DD. The other champions, not so much. Interesting to see that they locked in Kai'Sa. They could have also locked in something like Varus, which probably would have been a bit better. But I guess with their game plan, they want. I expect to see Ryze banned as well for TL. Nocturne ban. So we're seeing the jungle pool pinched very heavily. Kindred is a pick that they could go for. Lee Sin, that's probably a good pick. Maybe the best jungler left. I'd say probably. I would like to see Ryze picked up for TL here. Um, really don't like the Sejuani pick. It goes. I mean, there's not that many junglers left, so that's kind of why they have to pick it. But the thing is they have a mid game. Okay, I don't like this pick at all. I think you just pick up Ryze here. This whole team is short ranged. He's gonna be able to do a lot against it. You can win potentially the split against Silas. So this pick, it gives them late game insurance, but it doesn't really. Hmm. I think this is a good pick as well. Now you have a good jungle mid duo that uh, kind of shits on this jungle mid duo. So that's a thing for sure. This is scaling to late. This doesn't scale as well to late. So Fongvoot's team is better in the late and they win the jungle mid synergy, which is why I really don't like the Sejuani pick. Because now you're opening up jungle and mid to kind of do whatever you want. I also don't like the Zir pick. I think it goes against what TL wants to do. Although Azir is pretty good because they're all short range champions, so it's kind of hard for them to siege against an Azir. But they don't really outscale either, so the pick is kind of. Well, I don't think they outscale, personally. So I think you're just opening yourself up way too much in this draft. But it's also how they drafted as well. Because you pretty much know the Jace is going for top. I don't really think Jensen plays it. And you obviously don't have the counter pick, so it's harder to flex. Maybe TL doesn't play Ryze. Maybe they don't think it's that high priority. But they should definitely think about that. So overall, drafts. I like TL's draft initially, like the first three picks, and I don't really like where they went after that. They didn't have to ban out junglers. They could have left three junglers open and been able to counterpick from jungle, but they go with Sejuani, which is okay, but you have no river control early, and your team is supposed to get ahead early. I would expect Lee Sin to. I would expect Silas to get pushed in, Lee to start red. I think you solo the buff with W start on Lee Sin, so they don't know where you start. Because it is also possible that you start here and then hit top later on. Could also hit mid, but I don't really like ganking mid for here. I don't know if LB wins this push early on though. So maybe you would want to hit mid. I don't think you go for double scuttle here. So I think something like red. Wraiths. Can test bot side scuttle if you walk over pixel. Into like, if not, then like wolves, blue. Look to gank or do grump. And then that neutralizes this lane here. Because if these guys just push all the way up and you start red, and then you're going to enable these guys to get to 6. And at 6, the Galio impacts the map a lot more than the Braum does, although the laning is a bit different. And then with the Galio pick, you can start pressuring mid, and then mid can start roaming to top. So overall, I think Fongvu's comp is better. I like Fongvu's comp better. Maybe I'm underestimating the Zir pick, but I just don't think it works well with the comp because it spikes at such different times. It gives you late game insurance and it makes it so it makes it very hard for them to siege because they're all short range champions. However, um, it just doesn't make sense to give Fongvu so much pressure and then them be able to cover their weakest lane. Because a 4-man dive is also possible in the bot side of the map. 3-man dives are also possible at the top side of the map, but I don't expect Sylas to be able to push in Jace. We see a stack, which is really interesting because they shouldn't ever be invading. Maybe they think because of Sylas, but their level 1 is just much worse, so it doesn't make sense to stack. Now you don't necessarily know where the pixel wards are. We do see Lee Sin soloing red, which is, I think it's pretty smart. We'll see what his pathing is after. I won't like it if he goes to golems. If you're on the Sejuani side, you're kind of... I think if you're on the Sejuani side, what you can do is you can just full clear. You can go red, wraiths, golem maybe, into topside clear and just try to power farm 6, because you know the Lee Sin shouldn't really be forcing this vertical. So you can kind of confirm all your camps. This is pretty ambitious by Fongvu. But they know if they don't die here, then it's going to set up the Lee gank better. So maybe that's why they want to do this. This is dumb. He shouldn't walk into this river because now they know where they started. So now the solo buff is completely, like, void. Like, there's no reason to solo this buff if you're going to walk into here. You don't need to get this scuttle because your top lane's going to get pushed in and your mid shouldn't be able to get... I mean, it can get ganked from this side, but it's not going to be able to be seen from here anyways, so it doesn't make sense to go for this scuttle. You'd much rather just do this and then eventually hit here at 250 when the pixel expires. So I don't like this pathing for sure. I really won't like it if he forces the vertical either, because your bot lane just traded too, so it goes against like what you want to be doing. See, if he did wraiths and comes here, he could test this scuttle. He pushes this guy off this scuttle as well. So, I mean, obviously he's just trading because he like sees him here, so it's good on this edge to do this. But the Lee Sin pathing is kind of, it's not great. He's going for double scuttle. This isn't really great either. When you go for double scuttle, you generally want to, like, you don't want easily gankable lanes. Because when you do double scuttle, they know exactly how you pathed. So they know for a fact that he did red, did scuttle, and then go into this scuttle, and then they know he has to go into this top side. I mean, this bot side of the map, sorry. So now you can kind of predict like his pathing for the next couple of minutes. That's why I don't like that pathing. He is contesting these wraiths, but if Sedge beeline to wraiths, assuming that this guy would do this, then he'd be in trouble because the LeBlanc doesn't exactly have priority, which she shouldn't get early on, like at level 1, level 2. Takes. Good that he leaves those up. I'm not sure if he walked into Scuttle Vision, but Also to note, he could have sat here. He could have sat in this bush, waiting to see if the sedge crosses over this way, and then if not, uh, you pretty much know the sedge is going towards here and not sitting here, so you could like wait a few seconds and then come down here when this wave is pushing out. All the sums are down too. I think that's a good spot where you could find a gank because these camps are never getting taken for you. Like there's no way sedge invades. And I kind of see why the scuttle doesn't mean anything because he's always getting pushed in. The Blanc gets pushed in early, so that's why the Wraith take isn't great. And he shows again. This is not really ideal for what you want on Lee Sin. Also to note, Phong Vu opted into this push. Had they just let this come in, they could have easily let the Lee Sin get a gank path. But jungle matchup makes TL play like this. Also, a thing to note that this Lee Sin has only done one minor camp, which is Wraiths. So he is going to fall behind a little bit at this point. I think he is behind. So I think TL played this early game pretty well, but Phong Vu played it bad. Like the Sedge wouldn't be able to do that pathing that she went if he doesn't show on Scuttle, on topside Scuttle in Pixel Bush. They get out safely there. Kind of surprising to see TL didn't just hard shove that in so it could bounce back. Because they knew Lee Sin was on that side. But I guess that's why they reacted so quick as well. This gank shouldn't really work unless Lee Sin face checks. How's this Galio die? Good counter gank, honestly. The problem is they knew that they were there, and that he knew that they knew. So you have to assume that he didn't bother. Like, you have to assume he did this and this and this and recalled and then came down here. So the timing is kind of, I mean, it was a good counter gank, for sure. Kind of uncoordinated with the Jace TP, because I don't think they needed it at all. And then the Silas get ahead. The Silas just decided, I mean, I guess he didn't have TP, which is kind of why they wanted to go for that. Does double lift ever dash? So he could have dashed out of this as well. If he had done that, then this would be like very good for double lift and TL. Yeah, this TP I don't think makes a lot of sense. They do hand it over. Well, actually they don't. So Braum gets 2 kills there. They waste TP. They don't get the drag. Just overall not the greatest of coordination. Sejuani's for sure ahead now. She has a Wraith camp to level 2. Lee Sin still won't have a camp to level 2 for a while. She's also going to proc level 2 Golem. I mean, Raptors and a Gromp. So, if you're trying to power farm, then this is one way to do it. This gank's possible. I assume what he's going to do is he's going to gank here, run through, take Scuttle. That would make a lot of sense. Also good lane positioning. They decide not to go for it. They don't... they can win the 2v2. But I guess they assume that the counter gank might happen. Jensen forced to pop the barrier. I think this is possible if he just ults right here and doesn't fuck around. Because you have to assume, or I assume at least, that he's going for the all-in here. So he's not going to pop back. Because he wants to auto him down without him flashing away. Maybe he can do it on reaction. I don't know. That's kind of why, that's kind of why you don't want the Sejuani in this matchup. Like, your bot lane wants to push, but they can never push because the Lee Sin is just going to sit on him. Because top's not really gankable. Mid, yeah, it's gankable, but it's obvious that this is going to be the lane of focus. So, this all comes from draft as well. I have no idea. He's trying to stop the freeze. He does get it to stop, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I don't like this drag start. He really shouldn't have started it. He needs to start doing these bot side camps, like, as soon as possible. I don't think you ever get this top gank off if you're Sedge, so I think you should go straight to Wraiths. Because you know the Lee Sin's on bot side, so you know he's not going to walk up here. Like, there's no way. This is all information that they should have as well. Unless you think he recalled, but it doesn't make any sense for him to recall. And then you're going to know that he started blue right here. And the Sedge is going to do that, it looks like. I guess he mistimed it. I don't know what he's doing here. Hovering for mid, but... I have no idea why he passed like that. This is coming up soon, like he didn't need to do that. You could have walked here, discovered this pink, killed this pink, walked back, and then now you can do this. Because, again, like the Lee Sin can't be in your top side jungle. And you're not going to get this gank off at top because he's too low mana, so he's going to reset anyways. So the Jace should be saying like, hey, this guy's not going to Like he's not going to be yankable because he's going to recall. So now you're limiting yourself to only like if you do this, can look bot. Your pathing, your natural pathing is better. Um, so I don't really like that he didn't do his wraith because it's already leveled. So you want to keep the leveling going. Like the blue is not that big of a deal here, to be honest. Like you don't have to rush this down. I really don't think there's any way that they can test this with their Silas being 1 HP. So that kind of pathing I don't really like. I'd much prefer him to repeat wraiths once again. Now we see the Galio 6, so he's choosing to roam. Maybe they know this is going to happen. Got the Sejuani flash. No, he's just dead. That was really good by the Lee Sin. Very patient. Didn't force anything, just waiting for him to walk there. I guess they're going to do Herald now. It's not bad. It's not the best thing. This isn't really guaranteed, even if you have 3 members here. So maybe taking camps would have been the better play. Yeah, because I think the Jace can test this, and the LeBlanc is kind of low. Okay, the Jace can't contest it because he doesn't have the vision. But if he had, he could definitely poke some. They swap successfully. They're giving up bot tower from what it looks like. I don't mind it. I don't like if they drop this at top here, which it looks like they will do. Yeah, they do. The reason I don't like dropping it at top is because Azir is very hard to siege against. You need to drop it mid. Um, you need to drop it mid because with all these short range champions, it's going to be very hard to siege the Azir. And the mid tower is by far the most important tower. Because if you take this, you can expand the map onto these other towers. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I think. I kind of understand at this point they want the solo plating onto Kaisa, I believe. So that could be one reason for why they want to do this. However, it still doesn't solve the problem how they're going to crack mid. At all, actually. I guess they're trying to push first tower. Which they might not even get. They do get it. Okay, so they want to go for first tower, but they don't really do anything with this because they split gold here, which it is relevant that they split gold. I thought they wanted to accelerate the Kaisa, but obviously that's not what they wanted to do. I don't think they can get another charge cleanly, or they shouldn't be able to. But they might. We'll see how this plays out. Now Lee Sin starts taking camps, and TL starts drag, which was the obvious thing that was going to happen when they went for top. Like immediately you should know that TL was going to look for drag. The charge here is nice, but the problem is this isn't relevant at all, actually. No one's going to be able to come here because there's going to be, well, it's possible that someone comes here, but who? That's what you have to ask. Like, is the Silas going to push up all the way? No, he's going to sit bot. Is LeBlanc going to be able to hit this tower? No. Is your Galio and Kaisa going to be able to hit this tower? No. It's just not something, it's not relevant damage. That's why I'd be a way bigger advocate for mid into drag. Even if you lose first tower, I don't think it's too big of a deal when you consider the map play. And considering you outscale too, you definitely want to open up the map sooner rather than later. Mm, I have to rethink about if they outscale. My natural instinct is to say they do. I think Silas for sure outscales Jace. I think Kaisa like 100% outscales Lucian. I guess Azir outscales Blanc. Sejuani outscales Lee. I don't think Braum outscales Galio either. I think they're similar scaling. Um, don't really like this. But they swap back. I guess it allows Kaisa to affect the map much more. Yeah, I would not want staggered lanes here if I was Fongvu. I don't think unless the Silas is completely incapable of laning against the Jace, and it makes more sense. But the Lucian Braum are on their power spike, so they're pretty much just gonna run down towers that you don't have resistance against. That's pretty uncoordinated. Yeah, this is what I say. You don't want it split. That's a pretty big mistake. Maybe the idea is hey, we want Kaisa with more gold. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's great. You're probably gonna give the Lucian a few platings. And it's not like it's solo gold for Kaisa, it's split gold. So it's like what? Like a creep worth of plating. Okay. Well, the same thing happened on the opposite side of the map, even though this guy should have just backed up. Impact for sure should have just backed up. Um, yeah, I don't know. They know the tower trade's coming. They shouldn't disrespect like that. This is possible. Not sure why he kicked. It's gonna work out though. They end up taking bot tower. TL should take top tower. And now when you're Buffalo, you have the problem of how do you crack this mid tower? It's pretty hard. So the game should stand still for a little bit. I guess he thought since he had flash he couldn't die, but I don't know why he. I guess he's trying to get for XP range. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure why he kicked. No one could have been there to back up. It was not like you need a fast kill there. A lot of plates going down this game. I want to see the items. Kais on 2 items. Okay, so this was my play for Buffalo. Put the Silas at bottom, put the LeBlanc at top. Have your Kaisa sit mid, and have the Galio roam between the lanes with Lee Sin. Or not even like exclusively with Lee Sin, but roam together and start getting the deeper vision. I think it's possible. You just play away from the double lift lane because he's on a spike as well. By doing this, you let the Kaisa scale up. You also incentivize the Azir to match the LeBlanc, which would open up this mid tower, which is really important. So hopefully we see that. I'd be fairly excited to see that. Another thing to remember is when you have full all-in teams like this, both teams are pretty all-in, Ocean means a lot less. Ocean is good for this team because Lucian kind of needs mana, Sedge is good with mana, Jace good with mana, Azir is good with mana, but outside of the mana regen, the combat's, like, the health regen isn't as relevant because if they're doing damage onto you, they're on top of you. So this Ocean Drag isn't that important. Besides drag cycle. Of course drag cycle is a thing. But I think if TL ever goes for this drag, Phong would be happy to trade a tower for it. So because of that, I wouldn't put much priority on it if I was Phong. That being said, they are putting priority on it. Because let's just think, if you know TL is going to contest this, and you start moving your pinks up into this, then this tower can possibly fall, because you did get the charge. So I guess it becomes relevant now. Both teams are prepping for drag. That's kind of why I wanted the Silas at bottom. Because, as I said, they want to trade. So if the Jace decides to TP, or they decide to just give the drag and then walk to this tower, then it's a lot better. I don't think they should be prioritizing drag very much at all. I don't think the LeBlanc should be roaming here. He's not, which is good. Yeah, I don't know. Someone should just be sitting top, shoving in this wave, and then they should just rotate here. And when they go for drag, I think it's really worth. I don't think you need to be fighting for this dragon at all. I feel like it's just both teams kind of being like, yeah, we don't know what to do, so let's just do the drag, to be honest. It might also be something like Kai'Sa is so strong that they know that TL is gonna want this drag for whatever reason. Not great, but they think TL is gonna want this drag, so then they want to fight them for it, even though the drag doesn't mean that much to them. But that being said, their vision isn't really properly set up. It does look like they're gonna get a good fight off here, though. This looks good for Buffalo, for sure. Galio ult. Oh, Galio didn't get it off. There's the ult. Doesn't really work out as planned. As expected. The Galio didn't really get the best ult off. This is good for... it looks good, though. Yep. Okay, that's that. TL super forced this drag for no reason. Fongvu, they had other plays, but they decided they wanted to fight. It ended up working out. I think it's really, like, pretty decent what they did there. If they're using the thought process that I am, where they just want to fight them, but TL never had to start that, so it becomes a lot more, like, becomes a lot worse, I guess. They get pushed out, so there's not a good Galio target. Galio just needs to ult, hits the Lucian, and then big outplays here. The Kai'Sa pops in. The Kai'Sa's so strong at this point, by the way. Like, way stronger than a Kai'Sa should be at this point in the game. So that's like more of the reasoning why I think they want to fight. Maybe this Kai'Sa just says, I'm so strong, I want to fight. Let's meet him at drag. But NA, looking like NA, to be honest. I know I'm not saying a lot of what TL should do, for what it's worth. I'm I generally say what the winning team should do because they're the ones with more of the options, and the TL more or less have to react to that. That being said, this TL draft is not something I would have ever drafted, so I'm not really exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure why, like what their comp is supposed to do, like at all actually. Okay, this is exactly what they should be doing with the Silas and the LeBlanc up at top lane. They might lose this mid tower, doesn't really mean much. The reason why it doesn't really mean much is because as it does open up the map, it's not like they can face check into this jungle all too often. Just because these champs are like good at defending. Whereas these, like, you can kind of face check a lot more. You have more power here. But it is nice to get it. It's also not as big because it doesn't enable any of the towers here. And see the Zir matching the LeBlanc. Let's say that this is set up earlier and the Zir has to match earlier, they wouldn't even lose mid. Silas should be fine clearing these waves. Hmm. Yeah, I think that tower doesn't mean as much for TL. That being said, it's netting them a blue. The focus should start going on to this barren side of the map. Phong Vu decided to reset, which is really weird. Or the Galio decides to reset, I should say. What did he buy here? That was so important. Redemption. Um, yeah, I like him resetting there. Because the redemption's gonna mean a lot in this next fight, whenever that may be. And this mid tower is up, so relevant. You kind of see both ADs gravitating towards mid because they can't go to side lanes. Just how the role is right now. Don't really like the Silas roaming here. Although he does have TP, so maybe he's trying not to get picked. Maybe they're trying to get this mid tower. Which isn't great, but it's not terrible either. They're roaming up for this mid tower. This is the power of sending LeBlanc to the side lane, because now they don't have the Zir who would easily be able to clear this wave. He's not here, so this is enabled. I really like that. I think Phong Vu's playing fairly well in this game one. This is just probably dead. Guess wrong, I guess. Next drag is Ocean. Another drag that it doesn't mean that much. They're prepping for it though. I mean, TL is the one incentivized to prep for this because they already have two. So the third stack's fairly good. I guess Buffalo wants to contest it. Also to note, Phong Vu Buffalo only has one red trinket. They definitely need one on their LeBlanc. It makes more sense for TL to have the blue trinkets. It's way harder for them to face check. They don't end up getting one on LeBlanc, which I think is a mistake. Especially when you know the next objective is Baron. And I think they have priority on it. I guess maybe they think they don't because they lose this mid push. But if they play side lanes right, they can win it, for sure. This is Lucian Spike. Gotta be a little careful about that. Everyone else is fine. Kick. Very nice. This looks okay for TL. Blanco a little overzealous there. Giving up 2 kills for no reason. They're gonna get a lot off this too. Baron's definitely an option. I think you can just do Baron here. I think it's a pretty big blunder by Phong. I don't think they should be touching that drag at all. I think it's way too much risk for reward. I think you just go and control Baron vision and just give them the third ocean. However, if someone can create an argument to why that's not a good idea, then leave a comment in the comments. So Tia now is poised to win this game. They pretty much hit their spike exactly when they want to hit it. Not with the Azir, but with the Lucian for sure. Braum for sure, Jace for sure. So these 3 champions are online at this time. The Sedge is good enough, we'll say. Go speed this up a bit. Yeah, it's just overgreeding for that drag. The Galio doesn't even get ult off, because obviously you can't. This LeBlanc shouldn't have died here. I don't know why he was looking to turn that. Yeah, now they just kind of run it down. They can't really walk up to clear the waves because of the Azir. It's a big problem. I guess the Azir is better if you want to opt for the group and not opt for the split. But to be fair, Phong played the split terribly. They did do a lot of things right. They did do a lot of things right this game, but the split is not one of them. Over prioritizing drag as well. That being said, good fight happening here. Phong getting some back. Oh, big fight. Double lift gets in. They should get an inhib off this. They need to get an inhib off this, in my opinion. When you get the inhib, you pretty much say, hey, we can close the game. Because taking an inhib and not, like, pressuring game end is pretty bad because you let them free farm the mid wave. And you don't get any CS back for that. So now you just send how do you do this? I'll have to see the wave. I don't really care about this fight. It's like whatever. Kind of weird saying a fight, like a big fight like that's whatever, but could have gone either way. Kind of 50-50, honestly. Not the best TL favorite fight. Yes, I don't know what they're doing here. You don't go for mountain. Well, maybe you do. It depends if you prioritize this mountain here. If you do, you just send the Jace to top and then 4 bot. Yeah, just 4 bot. I don't think you need to worry about mid. I think mid will push in on its own. I don't really think they win a base race at this point. So, with that in mind, this is kind of like slow to set stuff up. I guess what they want to do here, This is my guess of what they're gonna do. They're gonna push and mid rotate top as 5, which is fine as well. They do that. I guess they don't want to opt into the split game. They know they win as 5, so they'd rather just do this. Have the Jace push mid. This is a guaranteed tower, by the way, so it's good that they take it. I think the XP is a little lower than normal because of all the grouping and because of the lack of jungle camp focus. It's going to be hard for them to hold against an Azir. Azir doesn't do this if they're not ahead. But I think your team is kind of doing a lot of, like, they're doing a lot of things that are kind of, like, a lot of things differently. Maybe it's just the Lucian. Maybe I'm tunneling on that too much. And their comp is fine. Just the spikes too, though. Like, we saw the early mid game. I think Phong Vu misplayed the early game so much too that if they're not like ahead or even at this point, this game's a lot harder. We're just gonna see vision clear until our Baron gets started and this Jace pushes in. Giving XP to double lift is fine here. This fight here is like pretty interesting. Lee Sin kick kind of being underutilized. He's so far behind, he's pretty much only a kick bot. Which shouldn't have happened in this matchup. But he was kind of wasting a lot of time. Yeah, once TL got that Baron, this game is pretty much over, in my opinion. I think Phong Vu played pretty well. I think they overvalued Dragon. Losing that Dragon gave Baron, and that was pretty much end game. I think first team to get that Baron in this game would have just won, like regardless of who it was. I think it was just misplay. That's it for this review. Pretty interesting game. I think both teams played. I think TL did what they could with what they were given. I think their draft wasn't great. Maybe I'm tunneling on the Lucian pick too much. I think Phong Vu played fairly well. They just overvalued that Ocean Dragon. And I think if they would have just gave that Ocean Dragon and started and setting up Baron Vision and setting up their split push, it would have been much better. No Rise being picked up this game, which is pretty interesting. The LeBlanc was absolutely useless. The LeBlanc would have been a lot better if the Lee Sin played properly. But I don't think this jungler is very good. I don't have very high expectations from him. I think he just kind of runs around and does his best. I think he just doesn't really have that strong fundamentals and kind of greeds a lot. I think going for Scuttle was absolutely terrible in that early game prep. I don't know if his coaches are telling him to do that or he just decides to do that, but it's just so dumb. Anyways, that's it. If you like this video review, hit the like button. Appreciate all the support, and see you guys for game 2.